into authentic conversations about ourselves and our community, exploring topics that uplift and inspire us. From personal growth to social change. So grab your teacup and get ready to join the conversation. Oh, hold on. Good morning, sippers. Let me check my audio, make sure my audio's up and running this morning. Good morning, sippers. Good morning, sip. Okay, we are live on this Wednesday morning. Good morning, YouTube. We are just so thankful for all the support across all the social media platforms. YouTube, we are live. Facebook, we are live. Twitch, Kick, Instagram, we are live. I'm not sure if we're live on Instagram. I don't know. I got all my stuff like in there because I stream live. So I don't know what's going on with that, but you know, we're figuring out the kinks, right? We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Kick. So thank you for all of my followers and sippers. Okay. I've missed y'all. Life has been lifing as it is for us all. Life is weird, right? So I'm going to start off this message for y'all to sip this morning. Please, please, please love you, your life, and everything and everybody in your life that matters to you. Keep them close, love them, okay? Keep them safe, okay? Because the world is weird, and you know better than anybody how you love and look over your loved ones. So love and stay safe with your loved ones. Okay, sippers? Now, let's sip this tea. We're up this morning. I told y'all that I would be back with some Love Marriage Huntsville. I know y'all have been like, Tanisha talks teas. Where's the Love Marriage Huntsville? Okay, here it is, right? So we're going to start off with where we left off with Love Marriage Huntsville. With Martell Holt and his mother preferring Arionne over Melody as a wife, or Melody over Arionne as a wife. What do you guys think? I am going to ask that question in the chat. Okay, come on in, sippers. Hold your teacups up. Let's get them filled with this tea on Love and Marriage Huntsville. So, do you think that Martell Holt's mother preferred Melody or Arionne as his wife, right? Because as we know where we left off, high project content, as you know, as we left off about Love and Marriage Huntsville, Martell was looking to bring Arionne into the fold of the show, right? He wants to bring her on into living with him on the show and being his fiance, I believe, and things like that. Okay, so are we opposed to Martell bringing Arionne on the show to be an active participant, an active show, stopper, a participant on the show, right? However have you, for his love interest, because that is what she would be, right? She would be Martell's love interest. Of course, she is the mistress. In case anybody's not familiar, Love and Marriage Huntsville, one of my favorite reality TV shows, not gonna hold you, would be, his new love interest, considering the fact that now him and Melody are completely divorced and co-parenting, right? They're divorcees, parents together of 4. Okay. And yeah, so he is, I'm seemingly believing, wanting to bring Arionne on, wanting the producers of the show, Mr. Carlos King, to bring on Arionne as his new love interest. What do you guys think about that? I don't care for Arionne in that nature. I think she's more than likely, outside of her being the mistress of Martell Holt while he was married to Melody Holt, is a good person. However, what she did in, her area of looking for her own husband was a seemingly sought out Melody's husband, right? So, as a woman of morals, a woman of character, integrity, we don't approve of women that do such acts. We know they happen every single day. Unfortunately, men are in some areas not as strong as they should be when it comes to how they protect the essence of marriage and the covenant of their family when they're married, right? So it happened, and here we are today. So let's jump right into the clip, y'all. We're going to bring up the clip from Love and Marriage Huntsville of Martell and his mother sitting down at a diner having a discussion about Martell bringing on Arionne as his new love interest. Okay, we're going to look at some clips. We're going to finish sipping that tea, and we're going to just jump on throughout the rest of the week with some Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I think I want to do some Love and Hip Hop. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta has been on fire, y'all. I still watch all the reality TV shows. It's just, my little guilty pleasure. I really like reality TV. My husband's like, you are just too much into reality TV shows, but I've always liked them since I've been watching them for like over a decade. So it is what it is. And so, yeah, we're going to keep it, cute and sipping this tea on the reality TV show. So let's get into it.
Thank you.
Yeah, what you been doing today?
Just got up, get myself together, run a few errands,
Oh, yeah, you know my errands. Dropping them kids off.
Your daily routine, honey.
And I ended with Maverick over there by the Arsenal.
And he just done growed up so much.
I'm telling you, they all.
Let me fix the audio.
Oh, just
Yeah.
Okay,
suit up.
that's better.
Yeah.
Looking to move Arionne into the investment property.
So he's looking to move Arionne into an investment property, Martell says. Now, Martell says it's an investment property, but I'm more than likely believing that Martell already has Arionne somewhere set up in life where he is financially responsible for her. Okay, for her and their child that they had while he was married to Melody. Okay, because Arionne and Melody had a baby around the same time.
Okay. She gonna love it.
Because the little lease is up, and I said there ain't no reason to put you somewhere else and me pay that.
Yeah, and then you just got that whole house sitting there. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that is your baby's money.
Yeah.
I'm moving into the investment property because, I own that property and I feel there's no reason for me to pay bills at any other place. And I can't move her in with me until like a ring is on her finger. And
Okay. He owns this property, beautiful, right? And Arionne is looking to now, congregate with Martell in this own property of Martell's. And I'm not sure of the legalities behind that, if there even should be some, because he's saying that, she'll be seemingly a tenant. Okay. So however that may work, y'all can drop that down in the chat if you think that there would be like some legal ramifications that Martell may want to look into. I don't personally care for Martell, but if you care enough to want to drop any of the legalities that Martell may want to look out for while moving Arionne into a home that he claims that he owns, and essentially have her there as a tenant, because Martell claims that he wants to put a ring on Arionne's finger and make her an honest woman before she lives in a shared home with him, cohabitating as a couple. Now, what do y'all think about that, tea sippers? Let's take a moment to sip some tea on that, okay? I'm not too sure. I see the wine glasses shattering and breaking all around that type of situation. I don't believe that universally, as far as how things move in the universe, that Martell should marry Arionne. I feel as if, because of the way things shift and move in the universe, him marrying Arionne is just going to be a contractual disaster as far as a covenant of marriage goes between him and Arionne, because of the simple, saying, you lose them how you get them. Okay. He got her already married, right? Say, just for sake of saying, potentially another man that comes into the picture while she's now, in a place where Melody was at that time when they were married, and they're on the upcline, right? Say for whatever reasons, one of them meets somebody that they feel now, because this has been the pattern of what they've shown in relationships, right? Their eye is now wandering off into another direction with somebody else. Well, there goes your wine glasses breaking, right? Okay. So it's like, do you really want to jump right directly straight back into a marriage with the mistress of the woman that essentially you sought out, that destroyed your perfect? Nothing's perfect, but I believe that if anybody had a great covenant on the show of Love and Hip Hop, on the surface of what we saw, that they had a good marriage, right? But there are talks of Melanie, and I'm going to talk about that on another show, because right now we're just talking about Martell and his mother and how she feels about Arionne over Melody as the wife to her son Martell. That Melody alleges that there were a DV that was committed behind the scenes on the show of Love and Marriage Huntsville, and she believes that people are believing that Carlos King, and I think she's saying this too, Carlos King and the directors, the Oprah Network, they knew that she was being domestic violence by Martell, being committed domestic violence against her, right? So on the surface of what we saw when we first were introduced to Love and Marriage Huntsville and Martell and Melody, we were looking at what we thought to believe to be a almost perfect marriage. Okay, so we know things happen behind closed doors that we don't know about. What we know we saw on TV, right? That's what we were made to feel. Do you think, sippers, that he will have the same, similar, it can come almost close to what he had with Melody with Arionne? Because I think that's what Martell wants to simulate, as far as him with Arionne now trying to put her in the position to win with him as him and Melanie were. Drop that in the chat.
It's better than to have my son and her moving into something that I built.
Do you plan on marrying her one day? You thought about that?
Of course. I told you I want to get married again, so.
I know.
If she's that person, that's gonna be the person I marry. If she's that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Arionne is the person, right? So if Arionne was the person, what he's saying, alluding to, is that Melody wasn't. Okay? Because when he was married to Melody, this is where we still see the bitterness in Martell. because we know how Arionne got introduced into the picture for Melody and Martell to have the breakdown of their marriage, right? She was his mistress. So if Arionne is the person for Martell, he's saying now, through all of his bitterness, right, that Melody wasn't and Arionne was. I think that's a very bitter play because we saw Arionne and Melody, I believe, pregnant at the same time by Martell. And Martell did not want to lose Melody while he had his cake and ice cream with Arionne at the same time. He really tried to fight for Melody to stay in the marriage with him while he had Arionne on the side. So how is Arionne the best fit for Martell if he's never shown that, you know, a woman was better than Melody? Never. Because even in the event of him being exposed with Arionne, he still was clinging to Melody. In every little fiber of his fabric that he could, he still tried to hang on to her.
You know, she's a good girl.
Yeah, just getting to know her, you know.
Arionne is not a good girl as far as when it comes to marriage and the covenant and the sacred bond that two people make between each other and go off and have a family together. That is not a good woman. A good woman is a woman that actually respects the covenant of someone else's family, even if she has strong feelings for the person that she's looking at. Knowing what they have back at home, she's going to subside her feelings for that married couple and respect their family and the vows that they took and be good to herself and true to herself to go find herself a husband of her own, not a husband of a woman that already has been claimed. That's not a good woman.
She's a nice person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought it was gonna be a little bit more difficult.
Well, you know, it took me a minute.
It did.
Well, you know how that go.
And we heard Miss Holt say, okay, that it took her a minute to chum up to Arionne. If we recall, Love and Marriage Huntsville fans, that she adored Melody. Okay, I really like how Martell's mother is neutral. However, she does let her understanding be heard as far as how she feels about her sons, about their wives, and so on, and their children and everything. But I really give Mrs. Holt all the respect as a mother, as a woman. I really feel that she gives complete genuineness. And I do definitely believe she's a big reason why Melody is somewhere still taking them on trips together. She still goes out with his mother. You know, she has a great, wonderful working relationship with Martell's mom. I definitely wholeheartedly believe that is because she has given off such a sweet spirit about the entire situation. It's just unwavering how, you know, empathetic and understanding and loving and caring Martell's mother is. Okay. I don't know why Martell doesn't have a lot of her, you know, and just genuine goodness. But his mother is a very good woman. From what we're seeing on Love and Marriage Huntsville, she is such a sweet lady.
You have to adjust to new stuff.
Yeah.
Cause
I understand.
you know, I love my family I had.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, sippers? Now you know she loved her family she had, y'all. And that was with Martell and Melody and their beautiful kids. Their kids are so cute, right? That covenant that they were really the Jay-Z and Beyonce of reality TV. From, you know, just the couples that were really, climbing and being successful, they definitely were a, you know,
You know, y'all was my world.
couple that gave a blueprint of how you can be from what we saw. I'm not talking about behind the scenes right now, right? What we saw on Love and Marriage Huntsville, they were a strong fist. Okay, they were not fingers that were just lingering, like, I'm gonna go pick off the pinky finger, the pointer finger. No, okay. Um, they made a mighty fist whenever they felt they needed to protect their family, their marriage, their business. Melody and Martell really they really embraced that, right? So I can see why his mother is saying what she preferred, over what he's doing now. However, we can't choose what our kids do um, in their life after they're grown and out on their own. No matter what, advice or heart we may have for whatever situation they have, they're ultimately going to make their own decisions, right? So, yeah.
And then, that incident happened. So, and I had to adjust.
Okay, grandma calls it an incident, not a moment, that he had. And it was one time, because some women can accept one time in a relationship where there's infidelity. Hell, you may have even slipped up and got her pregnant. Some women can, have you have a family here and a family there and still love you and work with you, and, in understanding you're a man and you're going to do some of the things that we wouldn't want a man to do in a marriage, but you do. Okay. But Martell continued to flaunt and embarrass his family on television and the internet. So Melody divorced his ass, rightfully so. Because remember, Melody was pregnant when Arionne was pregnant by Martell, right? So from me seeing that aspect of their relationships, I see Melody accepting Martell to an extent enough to also be pregnant by him while Arionne was too.
To that new thing with you, with
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to adjust. So,
Yeah. And I appreciate it, but I know at one point you told me that you weren't going.
Because Arionne, remember the interview and some of the clips we've watched of Arionne. We'll get into a little bit of those because me and my daughter are going to go out and have a mother-daughter day. I'm going to do her nails, take her get a bite to eat, maybe a doll, and just talk to her. Life is lifing, and my daughter is a special needs child. She's autistic. And so, life is not always kind to those that are different. And so she unfortunately experienced a moment in her life, an incident in her life that was not favorable for her. And so, of course, being the mother bear lioness that I am, I immediately took action and ended it. And, making sure that her future journey is, what it should be. And so that's what we're doing, sippers. Just pray for us. And thank you guys all so much for showing love and support. We really greatly, she really greatly appreciates it. Every day she's getting back to herself and just stronger and, being the lovely little girl that my daughter is. So please continue to pray for the Sipper family. All right.
Going to adjust.
I know because
You
I was
told me.
upset.
Yeah.
That was my family.
My mom, she was extremely hurt.
You heard her. You heard Miss Holt. She was extremely upset. You seen her face? And when her face gets like in her angry face, she's still so sweet. Martell has the sweetest mother. And I feel like that is Melody's blessing from because Martell is a motherfucker from what we've come to see. And I think Melody's trade-off is his mother and their children. Their children are great. Like, they got great kids. Melody could be on her live talking. Her kids will be behind her doing their thing. She'd be having them doing projects. They're never somewhere swinging from chandeliers. Like, she has wonderful children. And may they always be blessed all the rest of their days. So his mother's face was just angry. She was just mad, right? She's like, like, I had to adjust. Like, that was my family. And it still is. I see Melody still, taking them on trips. She take his mama and him on a trip with all their kids and all that great stuff, and mother was there. I believe Melody paid for it. Okay, like, Martell, no, he ain't finna get into that from Arionne. Arionne ain't finna do none of that. First of all, Arionne, I'm gonna get to that. Okay, let me finish, because I gotta stay on topic, right? On thought, right? So his mother's not happy, y'all. Because remember, I was like, we're gonna talk about, because I really just wanted to know, because I've seen how loving and just enduring and everything she's been to Melody. Like that, I just wholeheartedly embrace that for myself as a woman. To, even though our sons come from our loins and our womb, we are still women. And when you're a woman that's in a covenant with a man, and they break down the value of, the fabrics of y'all's life in such a manner, imagine the breakdown in the woman that's covenanting with your son and also having children. As a woman, take that in, ladies. A lot of us are out here hateful, evil, disgusting, busted, and can't be trusted. Martell's mother is a great example of what it looks like to have extended care for someone that's not your child, but that has, involved their life with your child's life, and your child not be the right, one in the relationship, and cause the problem. Okay, yeah, that's what had happened. And to see his mother embrace Melody and love her wholeheartedly, and saw what her son did to her, it just made me warm inside. Like, I just felt like I had a pumpkin pie with some cider. Ooh.
When she knew that me and my ex-wife were getting a divorce, I mean, she cried. We had many conversations about me getting it right. I understand, because she, just like I thought that was
So, do you guys believe that the conversation that Martell is having with his mother of him getting it right, do you think that it led to him now marrying Arionne? Or do you think his mother, this is what I'm going to tell you what I think after I ask y'all this question. Do you think his mother probably asked him to go back on his knees and beg Melody's forgiveness and make it right with Melody and his family with her? Or do you think she told him to now marry Arionne and make it right with Arionne, and make Arionne a woman of decency by marrying her, because they already had a baby out of wedlock while he was married to somebody else? What do you think, chat? And remember, when you come into the room, tea sippers, thank you all so much, because I've been handling my business, but I'm so thankful that you guys are here. Hi, lovely Libra. Hi. Please, as you come in, become a sipper. Okay. Remember to like and subscribe and follow. Do you think that Martell's mother asked him to go back and beg Melody's forgiveness? Or do you think she asked him to make Arionne a maid woman and add her in her rightful place in their family? What do you think, sippers? I'm going to answer what I think here in a second.
to be forever. And she knows, just like anybody else know, that some things come to an end. I mean, to this day, she's still affected by it. No, I'm affected.
And yes, things do come to an end. How do things come to an end, sippers? How do marriages end? It's not some force that just comes in and makes us. Okay, this isn't a movie. This isn't like a spirit demon came in to Martell and made Martell cheat on Melody and have an outside baby with a side chick. Okay, how do relationships end? We, the people, in them. We are the driving, deciding forces that end shit in life. We do. So you had a choice, Martell, and the choice you made was to end your marriage with Melody by taking Melody through hell with Arionne and the new child that you and Arionne have together. Yes, you did, buddy.
By it. My kids affected by it. It's tough, but one thing about it, life must go on.
But I'm still getting to know her, though,
Yeah. A lot of people look at it like.
And that's another thing where, I don't know what this rise of the destruction of women is coming from the men. Martell should be kissing Melody's ass, her big toe, as she sticks it in cow dung. Okay, and be like, kiss my big toe. Because the only reason why his children are as strong as they are and as accepting and caring and empathetic and loving for Martell and Arionne's child is because of Melody. If Melody was planting a seed in her children to hate their father and hate Arionne and hate their child that they have together outside of the marriage that Martell had with Melody and her children, they would hate them. They would give Martell hell every single time he was with their children. The only reason why their children are as they are, thriving and still moving forward in the progressive life that Melody and Martell once had for them, and Melody and Martell co-parentingly are still making that happen, is because Melody is at the head of making sure that their children don't hate Martell for the reason of the breakdown between their family dynamic. Okay, let's keep sipping this tea. If you feel me, drop them teacups in the chat. We are live this Wednesday morning on Love Marriage Huntsville. Martell and his mother discussing Arionne and Melody. Who should he, have stayed with? Who should he marry Arionne? And how does his mother feel overall? Drop your thoughts in the chat. Drop that tea in the chat.
Like Arionne, like she came in and like really kind of just like destroy what we had or whatever.
Arionne did not. Did you just hear him blame Arionne? Arionne did not seek Martell. Arionne was in the space of life wherever she was, and Martell sought her. How? Even if Arionne and Martell were in the same room together and Arionne approached him, Martell has the responsibility of a married man to tell Arionne no. To tell Arionne ass to go on. I am a married man. I'm flattered. However, I'm very happily satisfied with what I have at home in my marriage with my wife and my children. Excuse me. Oh, okay. How did Arionne come in to Martell and Melody's marriage and destroy it? She couldn't have had an access through any way unless Martell invited her.
at it like that, but I know you looked at it like that at one point too, because I would say that it's
And as much as I see, y'all gotta listen in closely to Martell because he does a lot of double fast talking. Okay. Now he's saying that his mother also looked at it like Arionne came into the relationship and destroyed Martell and Melody's relationship. She may feel that way. However, every woman that knows, who and how, a marriage can work and not work, it can only work if both people inside the marriage are making it work. Martell decided to not make his marriage work anymore with Melody by cheating on her and committing infidelity with Arionne. So there is no initial blame at all on Arionne. Arionne should have been rejected whenever him and her were in the space to talk about them two having an affair. That didn't happen because Martell, the married man, pursued it.
I say there ain't another woman.
Yeah.
She's not taking me away. It's more of this is what I'm.
She sure did not take you away from Melody. You left Melody. You left Melody the moment you decided to open up your mouth and tell Arionne you will entertain Arionne intimately outside of the marriage that you coveted it with Melody, to only lay down with the married woman that you vowed to only give your body to. Yeah, no, Arionne didn't take you from Melody. You left Melody. And I know you looking at Melody like, damn, how could I leave her? But you did. You're a dummy, Martell.
I'm doing,
Yeah.
So I don't look at it as Arionne coming in destroying anything.
No.
Of course you're not looking at it like that. But I bet you, y'all, because I'm telling you, I get vibes. I pick up energy off of people. I'm very, very great at receiving energy and understanding it and then explaining it, right? I get vibes from Martell that Martell is somewhere giving Arionne the business behind him now having to be left to deal with Arionne, without, because I'm thinking Martell probably thought Melody was going to hang in there. And then he would, navigate dealing with the baby he had with Arionne, with Melody, also spearheading this relationship dynamic. But now he's left on his own to deal with whatever him and Arionne are going to navigate and journey down through there in life, as now them being parents to a child together. I think that, he probably thought that Melody was going to help him understand how he does that. So he's in the background, probably somewhere, dealing with Arionne with regret and resentment.
Arionne's relationship, I guess it's changed over the years or whatnot. She's been over for dinners and things like that, and you kind of welcome her in with open arms.
Yeah.
Regardless of what happened in the past.
Right.
So I really do appreciate that. And she's thankful too.
Because what's been done, you can't undo. Right.
Yeah.
Whatever make you happy.
And I appreciate that.
Yes.
I just don't want to take no more steps back.
Right. Gotta move forward.
Like even with Arionne, I'm still.
So do you guys think that Martell is taking a step back as far as Arionne versus Melody? So let's ask that question. Lovely Libra, let's read some of the chats, y'all. Says, no, I think she told him get his ish together and take care of his kids. Right. I don't think she'll fully ever accept Arionne, says Lovely Libra. She'll just tolerate because that's who her son is with. And there's right. Yes. Right. She we don't have no choice. Our kids are going to ultimately make the decision for their lives of however they're going to navigate journey, do what they do, live how they live, be with who they want to be with, and navigate however that comes out for them. Right. So, she don't have no choice. That's her son. But we determined who we think she prefers. I'm gonna, spill my tea. I believe she prefers Melody. She preferred the family with Melody. I believe that's what I hear her saying vaguely, without saying Melody's name. I think that that's, what she's given. So, is Arionne the better choice? Is she the better woman in the dynamic of spaces where Melody is? Remember, Melody established a whole construction. Please don't get me to trying to understand exactly what all the comeback business was in construction, because babies, I've never worked in like construction in that way, sippers. I've done very small areas of construction, things like that, like getting down to the crooks of understanding it. I'm not the person for all of that, right? However, we saw Melody in that world excel to where she was getting deals and contracts and things, certifications in the construction field where Martell was not, right? So that was also getting him frustrated and aggravated. Like, work with me, make it look like I have these accolades and you're just assisting me. And Melody was like, I'm not falling to the back. I've worked hard to, show that I have acquired these levels of education, certification, and things like that in the construction field. And I'm standing on the forefront with your bald-headed ass, right? And I thought that was so cute. Is Arionne the woman now in Martell's life to also stand in those spaces and places and demand and command the respect of what Melody did with Martell's bald-headed ass? What do y'all think, y'all? What do y'all think? Drop that down in the chat. Let's wrap up Martell and his mother on Arionne versus Melody.
I want to make sure that she's the one that I want to
Right.
do the
Just
favor
take your
with,
time. Yeah. Just take your time. And like I said, make sure. Don't be doing all that if you ain't sure.
I don't want to take my time too much. I just need to make sure that
Do y'all think he's taking his time? Let's drop that down in the chat. Do y'all think he is taking time to marry Arionne? He's already talking about it. I mean, but also take into consideration, I'm going to give Arionne a very small amount of grace here. They have been dating for how long? I heard in the interview that he did with the alleged side chick of Marceau and them, that Marceau and Maurice, that it's been like over a decade since he's been fucking with Arionne. Now, I don't know. But drop that in the chat. If y'all know how long he's been with Arionne, drop that down in the chat, y'all. So, lovely Libra, welcome. Please become a sipper. You are very well wanted here in the tea room with Tanisha Talks Teas. Lovely Libra, I think she prefers Mel over Arionne. It's what's familiar. Maybe Arionne might had a chance had she came in. Exactly. Thank you. That's why I'm like, if the marriage had already dissolved, lovely Libra says she's collateral damage. If the marriage had already dissolved, y'all, then you know what I'm saying? We can understand him moving on, taking his time to see where and how he wanted to land with another woman, whether it be, dating, transactional, situational, or marriage, right? He's talking about marrying Arionne now. Do y'all think it's too soon? I do. I don't want to hear this taking our time shit. How long has his and Melanie's divorce been finalized? Let's look that up. I got a little bit of time because me and my daughter aren't going out till this afternoon. I got a little bit of time. So let me see, y'all. How long has Melody Holt and Martell been divorced? Oh my, is this real tea? Madam Noor, I don't know if this is real tea, y'all, but she says, it's okay. This was in 2021. So they've been divorced a few years now, 4 years. That's long. That's time. That's almost half a decade. Okay. I thought maybe they had just recently got divorced like 2023 or something like that. But Madam Noor published on March 20th of 2021 that it's officially over between Martell and Melody Holt. According to court papers obtained exclusively by our sister site Gossip, shout out to Gossip, the Love Marriage Huntsville couple were officially granted a divorce on March 12th. So that was in 2021 by a judge in Alabama. The cause of the divorce was identified as incompatibility of temperament. What does incompatibility of temperament mean? Have y'all ever heard that? I've never heard that. I've never heard of incompatibility of temperament. Okay, hold on. Let's see, because I don't know what that means. Incompatibility. Okay, like 3 years, lovely Libra. Thank you, darling. Incompatibility of temperament means not able to live in harmonious or agreeable combination. Oh, okay. When there is conflict in the pattern of behavior and reaction, it is said to be incompatibility of temperament. So when there's a conflict in the pattern of behavior, so there was a conflict in the pattern of behavior, y'all. Do y'all think that was the cheating? They couldn't get along. Lovely Libra says, yeah, they couldn't get along. I'm thinking also cheating, a pattern of conflict of pattern behavior. This is due to the different manner of thinking and behaving of a human being. I'm thinking cheating, fighting, things like that. This is a ground for divorce in most states when a married couple no longer has desire to live together due to incompatibility of temperament. So there we have it. Not able to live in harmonious or agreeable combinations. Okay. So, yeah, I'm also hearing that she left with like no child support, things like that. Unknown caller. 1 second, guys. I got a phone call.
Okay. She gonna love it.
Because our little lease is up, and I said, there ain't no reason to put you somewhere else and me pay that.
Yeah, then you just got that whole house sitting there.
Okay, guys, that was the doctor. So, our lovely Libra says arguing, yelling, shouting in front of children.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah, all reasons, all reasons. So, I'm also looking at some shit that Madam Noor. Hold on, y'all. That Melody. Okay, let's read this, y'all. No child support, no alimony. Martell and Melody Holt divorce. What? The couple will have joint legal and physical custody of their 4 children and will try to work together to determine a weekly schedule for who will get the children and when. There was no order of child support for either party as they agreed to share expenses and alimony wasn't awarded. Wow, they've been married 10 years. How was alimony not awarded? Melody just won. That's how, woo, when you drive a woman all the way to the edge, that is what we're seeing. He drove Melody all the way to the cliff. She didn't even want alimony, child support, nothing from Martell, y'all. Wow. Okay, let's keep reading this. I didn't know that. Wow. Bless her children, that they always will be, covered in the blood of Jesus' blessings. Okay. So they also agreed to dissolve the businesses they hold joint interest in, Holt and Holt Custom Homes, LLC. Melody filed for divorce last summer. This was in 2021, y'all. So has put out music saying she's never going back. And in an interview with Madame Noor in February, she said that the catalyst for her leaving the marriage was a message from God. There were times prior to when she actually wanted to walk away because, again, there was only so much a person could take. She says she's the only person who will pray before my board meetings as a young entrepreneur. Her point is, I've always been spiritually in tune. I was groomed and raised that way. She told us, I'm the person who, as best as possible, because I'm not perfect either, is going to always yearn for and look for guidance from my creator in terms of how I should move. That's in business. There are some deals I turned down because I don't feel in my spirit that it's right. In the marriage, there were times when I personally was fed up, ready to walk away and go. But I didn't feel that spiritual release from God then. I didn't. And the moment I felt it was actually after I had my daughter Melanie on December 19, 2019. I remember when they took us to our room and I got in the shower, and while I was there, I just burst out in tears. In that moment, I felt it was finished, she added. And I knew from that moment on, if anything else transpired, if anything else happened, that it was done and over. That is why it was easy for me to walk away. And it's been easy for me to for me to stay away because God said go, and nobody trumps what God says, period. That's just how I am. Shout out to Melody for the strength and the know-it-all to leave when God told her to. Lovely Libra says, clean break. Yes, ma'am. It's gotta be that way sometime when you know you don't want to be looking at the bald-headedness of some of these people. You just say, clean break me. I don't give a damn if it takes every single thing and every single part of me in this very moment, but I would rather have all of that, just depleted than my life, than me. Because I can get back anything God, will replenish my life, whether it be, assets, money, or even children in some cases. And he will fulfill me again. And next time it will be rightfully so for my life, right? She added, I'm not about to be disobedient to what God says in my spirit to please anybody, nobody. Even Martell says every day that he still wants us to be, I told you, he wants us to be together and be a family. Still probably to this day, okay? Probably to 2025, okay? But I'm going to follow what I know without a doubt, says Miss Melody. Yes, shout out to Melody, y'all. Shout out to Melody. Drop some teacups. We dropped teacups in the chat. Lovely Libra says, it's when she secured a bag and that baby came. I had heard that, girl. He got her pregnant. You know what I mean? Like right when you got Arionne pregnant, and that was like right around the time that she was, getting on those contractual deals and stuff, and then going on to do motivational speaking, clothing, things like that, music. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, and these men be trying to, it's not just women that, seek bags from people. Men do the exact same shit. They do the exact same shit. So I'm actually,
Michelle,
really, glad for Melody in this instance, because Melody is a woman in doubt. She's like, I got this. You know what I mean? Like, as long as Martell does his part as a father, and takes care of his children how he needs to in his life now without me, then I'm fine with that. He can keep child support, he can keep alimony. I'm securing a place in life where I feel confident enough to where I don't need those financial areas from Martell to have to deal with his bald-headed oh shit. And I heard that, girl. I feel you on that. If you're a woman out there that also feels that if you were in this situation, you could also hold down your life and your children in the best way you could and stand on your business. Thank you, lovely Libra, for the teacups. Okay. Would you also leave a situation just, wiping your hands all the way clean and just doing what you got to do to move in places and spaces to take care of your life? What would you do? What would you do? I commend Melanie. Lovely Libra says she knew how he would act had she left before then, like he's acting now, but she has more money and resources to thank you. More money, more resources, ladies, to keep his bald-headed hoe shit away from her. I don't personally go into all my personal business, but I have a similar situation, not a marriage dissolved, however, a mutually shared child that's of almost teenage age, and I'm also in this area of dissolving where, I'm not looking at dealing with the bald-headed hoe shit. So there we have it. Lovely Libra also says, I'm glad she got away from his narcissistic self. Thank you. I mean, the blessings come. When you start clearing out a path for God to bless you, they come. They come straight through, and they flood in. They flood in.
I'll see.
Yeah, but it's up to you, baby. Have you talked to Marcel since y'all was on social media talking?
I haven't talked to him, and I don't think he want to talk to me right now.
That's sad.
Him or them. I don't want to talk to them either. You know what I'm saying?
That's sad.
I was hoping really for them to, before I even put that video out, what Arionne and I did, I was hoping
we're gonna get into that, y'all, too.
And really to apologize and
we might not get
really
into
take back
it.
the lie
Like I
that they
said, we
did.
gotta have a girl's daughter day for me and my daughter.
But
we're also gonna tap into more of the drama, not just Martell, even though he is some tea, girl. His bald-headed shit is always bald-heading, okay? But the rest of the cast, too, woo, it's hot. It's on fire, y'all. So we're going to get more into all of the rest of the cast as well on other shows. Thanks for watching Tanisha Talks Teas. Remember, drop those teacups in the chat. If you're here right now, support the channel by subscribing, okay? Lock in your notifications so that whenever I spill some tea, you're always here to catch it.
Said that about somebody. I mean, who do this?
Because I didn't even want to do that video. But y'all not gonna keep coming for me.
Every time you turn around, somebody bothering you.
Yeah, like y'all put my back against the wall, and now I'm fighting back. Now, you know? So what I found out, when I start giving it back to them, they'll calm down. Yeah.
Because you ain't gonna be staying in me. No, Lord.
Especially when I got a lot of stuff on you.
Well, I mean, what were they talking about? What's new tea? Does anybody, let me check chat. Does anybody know any new tea? Thank you, lovely Libra. She says, what she heard God say was, are you tired yet? And God will make you go through the worst hell on earth behind you continuing to want to entertain and accept the worst hell on earth. It will get worse and worse and worse and worse to where you're basically in a place where you can't get out of the hell. You're just eternally, standing there burning until God descends you into the, realm of afterlife. You're just burning on hell on earth for the rest of your goddamn life, and your existence is miserable. Your existence is miserable. Okay? So,
oh, man.
Oh, I don't want to talk to them either. You know what I'm saying?
Do y'all feel that Martell was warranted for exposing if it wasn't just an allegation, or was it a truth in any of that shit that he brought to the internet with Arionne, with girl, we covered all of that. Go back, y'all. It's there. Okay. We covered the entire conversation that they had with this chick or whatever. We did the whole review of the show. So do y'all think it was warranted? Like, what was what Marceau and Marceau and Maurice, right? Kimmy and Tisha's husbands. What do y'all think they did, like, to piss Martell off to where he felt the need to either bring this lie to the world or this, truth? Because we have yet to really know if it's a lie or the truth yet, right? So, was it just them talking about his obvious, incident he had with Arionne, that he can't lie and say that's a lie? No, Arionne's not real. This never happened. You can't prove it. Arionne had a whole baby by Martell. So, other than that tea, is there some tea that I'm not having yet? Lovely Libra says, nope, he was bogus. He broke bro code because he didn't like being in the hot seat, just like Marceau said. And I feel right, because I'm like, what's tea? If it's nothing outside of Arionne and they're still on Arionne's bullshit, then you know what I'm saying? What is he now? It's two truths and a lie in there. I heard that because from the interview, wasn't he saying like he was there in Vegas with Marceau and Maurice when they were supposedly having this freak off with this girl that they did the interview with? He said he was in the room. Now, the question, I'm going to get to that, y'all. That's for a whole nother show. Okay, let's wrap up Martell and his mom. We're going to come back with some more tea on that.
Really
y'all lock in y'all notifications, okay? So that when I come back up here with some more Love Marriage Huntsville tea, y'all lock in with me, okay?
I'm going to put that video out, what Arionne and I did. I was hoping that he was going to call me and really to apologize and really take back the lie that they did.
And then why would y'all say something? Why would y'all go out and say that about somebody? I mean, who do this?
Because I didn't even want to do that video. But y'all not going to keep coming for me.
Every time you turn around, somebody will bother
now,
me.
do we believe that? We don't believe that. Okay, so let me see. Let's see if we can find any more stuff on Martell's mom speaking about Melanie and Arionne. Melody, Martell's mom, defends Melody and has strong words about it. Let's listen. We're going to give credit to Celeb Peak for bringing this tea. Let's see.
When I'm with you, nobody...
TV sometimes hits you in a way you don't expect. Not because someone is flipping tables or yelling across the room, but because something honest is said. The kind of truth that doesn't feel scripted or edited but comes straight from the heart. That's exactly what happened when Marlene Holt, the mother of Martell Holt,
okay, her name
finally
is
decided to speak her.
Okay, let's give her the respect of knowing her name. Her name is Marlene Holt, okay? So I was just calling her Martell's mother, but now we know her name, Marlene.
Mind. She didn't sugarcoat anything. She didn't try to sound nice for the cameras. She spoke like a mother who has loved deeply, but has also been deeply let down. And what she said about Melody Cherie and Ariane Curry wasn't just shade-eat, was raw honesty. It was the kind of truth that makes you pause and think. Marlene didn't talk about social media drama or court cases. She didn't mention the back and forth the back and forth online or the reality show arguments. She went straight to the heart of the issue. Her son had all the tools to build a good life, and he still chose chaos. You could hear the pain in her voice. This wasn't something she had just started feeling. No, this had been building up for years. Every time she saw Martell make another mistake, every time he messed up his own future, that weight grew heavier on her. And when she finally let it out, you could feel how much it had been hurting her to stay silent. What truly struck people was how she spoke about Melody, not like an ex-daughter-in-law, but like someone she truly missed. Not because Melody was perfect, but because she brought peace and order when everything else was falling apart. Marlene wasn't just talking about a woman who was once part of the family. She was talking about someone who held the family together. Melody represented structure, strength, and class. She was the one holding it down when things were crumbling. And Marlene saw that. She respected it. She appreciated how Melody carried herself, how she supported Martell even when he didn't deserve it. That kind of admiration comes from watching someone show up day after day for a family that wasn't easy to carry. But then came the moment that truly hit hard. When Marlene brought up Arionne Curry, she didn't yell. She didn't curse. She didn't even raise her voice. She just used one word: incident. Not relationship, not partner, not even mistake. Just ... an incident. That cold, distant word said more than a whole speech ever could. It showed just how deeply disappointed she was. Because when a mother can't even acknowledge her son's situation as love, it's not about being petty. It's about being heartbroken. This wasn't about dragging Arionne personally. Marlene wasn't attacking her as a human being. Too. Her Arionne represented something much bigger. The moment everything started going wrong. It's the point where Martell's life went completely off track. And no matter how much time passes, that damage still lingers. Even after all the mistakes, all the bad decisions, Marlene still hopes her son can turn things around. She hasn't given up on him. But every new excuse, every refusal to take responsibility, makes it harder for her to keep believing he'll change. And that quiet pain came through in her words. What made her message so powerful was that she wasn't yelling or being dramatic. She was calm. She spoke with a steady voice. But that made everything she said land even harder. Sometimes the quietest. Voices say the loudest things, and in that moment, hers did. Because this time, the truth wasn't coming from social media or other cast members. It was coming from his mother, the one person who knows Martell better than anyone else. And when your own mom looks you in the eye and tells the world she's disappointed, there's no place to hide from that. No comeback, no PR move. The weight of your actions staring you in the face. And in many ways, Marlene wasn't just speaking for herself. She was speaking for every viewer who's been watching the story unfold. Wondering how Martell let such a solid woman slip through? His fingers. Because Melody wasn't just his wife. She was the backbone of everything. She was the calm in the storm. The one who kept things running while Martell was causing chaos. While the cameras showed a smiling family. Behind the scenes, Melody was picking up the pieces, holding everything together. She wasn't just raising their children, she was managing the home, the image, and the business. She was the real foundation. And Marlene saw that, not from gossip, but from her own experience. Her praise for Melody wasn't just about respect, it carried guilt too. Guilt that maybe she didn't support Melody enough while she was still there. It's guilt that she recognized Melody's value only after she was gone. And when she spoke about that regret, it wasn't about blaming the past. It was about hoping for a better future for her son, for their family. Marlene understands the real issue isn't just cheating. It's about something deeper. It's a part of Martell that keeps choosing destruction over growth. And until he faces that truth, nothing will truly change. What hurts the most isn't just the mistakes Martell made. It's the fact that he refuses to admit them. It's not just once or twice, but again and again. No matter how much damage follows, he always has an excuse, always finds a way to justify it. And that's what eats away at Marlene the most. Because mistakes, those can be forgiven. Everyone messes up. But when mistakes become a pattern, when they start repeating like a broken record, that's different. That shows a deeper problem. Martell doesn't just make mistakes, he builds his life around pretending they never happened. He's created an entire world where denial is the soundtrack. And he keeps pressing play. The most painful moment came when Marlene brought up Maverick. That little boy never asked to be born into this mess. He didn't choose the chaos, the lies, or the broken family. But the second
What they don't tell you about weight loss by...
Okay, so his name is Maverick, and I think she's just trying to follow along. Maverick's a cute name with the M's, because Marlene, right, Martell, Melody, all their kids' names I think start with an M. Melanie's kids, and now they have, well, Arionne has Maverick by Martell.
Skinny RX. 1.
Drop those teacups in the chat as we are paying bills with these commercials. Drop those teacups. Remember to
you can
also
see
like
the change in Marlene's face.
Sipper.
It's not because she doesn't love her grandson. Of course she does. She loves him deeply. But every time she looks at him, she's reminded of the moment. Everything fell apart. Maverick isn't the problem. He's the living reminder of a choice that broke something sacred. A family. A marriage. A future. And now Marlene carries that heavy feeling every single day. Loving a child who represents a very painful truth. That's not something everyone can understand. But a grandmother can. She's not angry with the child. She's mourning the version of her son that existed before all of this. The Martell who had a strong partner in Melody, a growing family, and a future full of promise. That man is gone. And in his place stands someone who's still chasing approval in all the wrong ways through drama, denial, and deflection. Meanwhile, Melody isn't arguing back. She's not yelling or trying to prove anything. Half the time, she's not even paying attention to the noise. She's moving forward, quietly, powerfully, gracefully. She's walking red carpets, signing deals, raising her kids with strength and peace. Her life is proof that walking away from chaos isn't weakness, it's survival.
And you know, Martell, I cannot stand a person that cannot stand to see the person that you laid down and had children with get up and succeed. That is some of the nastiest, disgusted, busted, and can't be trusted behavior a person can ever fucking do. And y'all see, I'm not biased because I have sons. I have a husband, been married 11 years. We share children together. So I'm not biased. I'm not on women's side when it comes to certain tea talk, and I'm not going to be on a man's side when it comes to certain tea talk. I am strictly in the middle as just a human looking through a woman's eyes, but into the world of human beings. Okay. It's disgusting for people to hate the person that you laid down and had children with when they get up and do the best they can to succeed, even though they laid down with a goddamn snake. That is the nastiest, ugliest behavior I have ever seen in human beings. Some of, of course, there are worse, but some of the worst behavior. Drop down in the chat, y'all, some of the things that you cannot stand to see people do when it comes to relationships and how they deal with the other person. Drop it down in the chat, will you please, while you're liking and, of course, subscribing.
Marlene sees it. She might not say it directly, but every time she speaks about Melody, there's this quiet respect in her voice. It's kind of sadness, too. Not regret exactly, but something close. An unspoken, I'm sorry for how things turned out. It's for what was lost. Arionne, on the other hand, brought a very different energy into Martell's life. And Marlene feels that too. It's not about judging her as a person, it's about what that part of Martell's life represented. Instability, noise, and destruction. No growth, no peace, just constant tension. Every time her name comes up, Marlene's face changes. Her eyes dim a little because she knows how much that situation cost them all.
Thank you.
And the worst,
Look, everybody can see it. The anger in her face. Everybody can see it. Thank you so much, Cheryl James, Sandy Sapali, Asia Asa, King J Vinay, Danielle T. Daly, Tasha Grace, Gifley Ray Maloba, known as Dr. Ooh, Precious Alexander, pretty name. It's Humble King and Lamar Terrell for becoming followers and subscribers.
part, Martell still won't face it. That's the part that breaks her heart the most. Not what he lost, but the fact that he doesn't even see it. Standing in the middle of the wreckage, pretending it was never
right. Martell is right. He's right for wanting to have the feelings and exploit them to the worst extent that he possibly could on national TV for a woman that has always held Martell down. In every instance, a woman could. He's right for doing her that way. According to his bald-headed pea brain, he is right for doing that to her. Martell is the highest level of manipulative narcissist you have ever seen. He is at the top of the list. And Martell feels because he has high value man motion that his, high value motion should get him through anything he does. But when it comes to the feelings of how people respond and react to you because of how you are moving and how you are nonchalantly, carelessly gallivanting around other people's family, money, lives, and shit like that, you're going to see the true meaning of the fucking doggy style. I don't care what level of value you're on. Eventually, you will fall.
anything special, still trying to tell the world
Good
and maybe even
always
himself
prevails over
that it
evil.
wasn't that serious, that he had no other choice.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name
While
on
they're
it
paying
just by
bills, let's make sure we keep those teacups dropping in the chat. That's a mouthful. Okay, drop those teacups down in the chat. You are sipping tea with Tanisha Talks Teas on Love and Marriage Huntsville, Martell and his mother, and how his mother feels about Arionne versus Melody. Yeah, it does. In all the history of all the fairy tales and fables, of all the life stories that we've all come to learn in our lifetime, good always. I don't care if it takes till the end of time.
But the truth doesn't care.
Good always prevails over evil. Eventually, evil will be exposed, revealed, and taken down. I don't give a damn how long it takes, what and who has to fight. God will send angels clean out of the sky. One day you'll see a newborn baby laying there, and the next thing you know, there'll be one of God's angels fighting in God's army. You beat him, barely blinked. We thinking 20 years that went by. In God's time, it'd have been 10 days. And we got a whole angel standing in the midst of the war, of the hell, of the demons and the devils and the evilness that's on this earth. Now, do I want to go to the extreme and say that Martell is that person? I think he's building his way up to that. I think Martell's building his way up to treachery and complete, what do you call it? Evil. How do you say that word? Bionical evil? Y'all know the word I'm trying to say. I get a little tongue tight. Okay, but evil. I definitely believe that is exactly what Martell is building himself up to be at the end of the day. Do y'all think that Martell will be a happy Even though no marriage is completely 100% happy, do you give Martell 25% of happiness in a marriage with Arionne? I don't give him anything past 25%, and I'm only giving Martell 25% because of their child. Now, if Martell does not have, accepted the top level of treachery, where just because, we have a child together, I will treat the child as I would, um treat my mother. I would love that child endearingly, even though I have a child with someone that I shouldn't have had a child with, type situation. But 9 times out of 10, how do people that have reached the level of treachery, right, in their hearts and souls, where their hearts are black, do they treat children good in the event that they had a child with someone that they now hate? Or they know they had a child with someone that they know they shouldn't have had a child out of whatever circumstances from. It's not many of us that do that, is it? A lot of us, well, let me not say us, because the sippers, we don't live like that. I have children that I do, not have relationships with their fathers, and I love my children down boots. I would kill a dead tree stump for my children. And I have absolutely no, sentiment in my heart for their dad. And that's just what that is. However, my children will always come first in my life, and I will always give my children the best of anything I have in my life to give them. Now, I'm not an evil person. Most people that are evil and treacherous do not live like that. They will deny the child. They will neglect the child. They will treat the child any old type of disgusted, busted, and can't be trusted way. And now we have more little evil, treacherous people, coming down through the journey of life. Okay. Laura C. Jones. Hi, Laura C. Says you are correct. Thank you, darling. Lovely Libra says no, he called her a pet. Didn't he? Didn't he call her a peasant? He called her a peasant. He was like, she's not Melody. I know I did not reach above the stars to grab somebody that was equally yoked as my wife. Okay. Arionne, creditly given to where it should be given. Accolades will be given where they should. She's a nurse, and we do, I'm a nurse. I'm a certified nurse assistant. Give credit where credit is due, right? Nurses are people that are selfless, right? So they give to others more than they receive, right? So we want to think, most of us, there are great nurses. Some of us are out here fucking up. Let me stop saying us, because they're not like us, right? They are who they are. They're over there on the side of treachery, okay, approaching evil. So we got nurses out here doing complete wrong. And it's sad to see, because it's like, okay, now we got to start really, vetting the people that are going into fields that are caring for people in those areas, to make sure that the right people are being in those positions, right? And Arionne is a nurse. So I don't know what level of nursing Arionne does. Apparently, she still wants to rise higher. I don't know if that's all the way to a nurse practitioner or get her doctorate or her master's. I'm not quite sure what level she's on. If anyone knows, will you please drop that in the chat? However, we've heard Martell speak of wanting to help Arionne finish nursing school. Okay, so we know Arionne is not where Melody is as far as her climb to a greater life and better successes to be a high value woman. Arionne's not there. So do you think that him going in, marrying Arionne where she is, do you think that he will respect Arionne to the level that we saw him give Melody on the show. Like at first he held Melody on a pedestal on the show from what we saw, right? He really held her to a high regard from what we saw. Lovely Libra says, that's why I say she's collateral damage, because we've all seen him for who he is and no one wants him but her. I know that's fucking right. Who's touching Martell? Lorcy Jones. Martell doesn't know what loving means, therefore he doesn't know how to love his children. Narcissistic folks pit their children against each other. Yes, they do. Thank you. So, yeah, and those are just people. It's unfortunate for the child. However, the child will reach an age where they can come and understand who was right and who was wrong. It's unfortunate for our children. That's why we have a lot of kids going to prison. Okay, going to prison. Thank you all for watching. Let's keep on dropping those teacups in the chat. I'm loving the engagement. Thank you. If you drop a comment, I will do my darndest to read it. Okay. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. We are sipping tea from Love Marriage Huntsville. Martell mother, Miss Marlene, does she prefer Arionne Curry over Melody Holt? And all of us are saying we think she prefers Melody, right? Yeah. I mean, obviously, right? Wouldn't you? I know I would. Any woman would love to have Melody as a wife to their child. You know, any woman would love to have Melody as a wife to their son. Martell, he didn't fumble the ball. He lost his marbles. And we're going to keep on sipping some tea.
About his image. And when that truth comes from someone like Marlene, it can't be ignored. Because she's not just speaking from hurt, she's speaking from experience. She knows what a good life looks like, and she knows Martell had it. He had a good woman, a solid family, a future that could have lifted everyone around him. And he threw it away for something that was never built to last. So when she hears him say things like, I did what I had to do, or it wasn't that deep, the disappointment in her is deep. Because this isn't about gossip or TV drama. It's about legacy. And Marlene understands that word.
So do you guys think that Martell will now create generational wealth with Arionne? Now, realistically, logically looking at what real generational wealth is in this lifetime, okay? On the spectrum of high value people, okay? Not we're leaving our kids our life insurance policy, real legacy. Lorcy Jones. She said, hell no. She said hell to the no. Okay, like for real shit. On the level of high value people, right? Do you think him and Lorcy already said no, respectfully? Understood. Do you think that Arionne and Martell will give their child generational wealth? And do you believe that if he would have stayed with Melody, they would have definitely acquired generational wealth, probably to last on for generations in their children's lives together? I think Melody can continue to do that on her own. And I'm praying that she does, because she deserves it. Melody is a great person. I like Melody. Yeah, she's sassy. Yes, she's spunky, but we've seen worse. We got the sexy reds out here looking crazy. So I'll take Melody Holt over a sexy red out here in these streets any day. Lovely Libra says Martell was playing baseball and oops, 3 strikes. You out now. He mad he was dropped from the team. Okay, I watched this show, y'all, called The Men Against Bitter Women, MABW. And he, what does he say? You're cooked. You're cooked, Martell. Martell, it's over. So if Martell doesn't make it work with Arionne, the chat, the sippers are saying he has nowhere else to go. He's hit a brick wall, okay, and he's not going to have the life and the legacy and the generational wealth that he would have had if he'd have stayed with the woman that he built it up with from the beginning. Thank you, Sippers.
He knows how hard it is to build something that lasts, and how easy it is to destroy it for a moment of pleasure or pride. She's not asking for perfection. She just wants honesty, accountability, growth. Not fake apologies for the cameras, but real change for himself, for his kids, what's left of his reputation. Because deep down, she still believes there's a version of Martell worth saving. But he has to want it. She can't drag him there. Growth is something you have to walk toward yourself. When Marlene said there's still time, she meant it. Martell isn't beyond hope, but time is running out. Every day he chooses
no
pride.
one is beyond hope in life unless you're on death row. And even then, if Kim Kardashian gets a hold of you or Trump, they may pardon your ass. But you have very slim to no hope in those situations. Martell has hope in life, yes. In marriage and love and legacy, generational wealth, happiness, in moments of having those moments with somebody in life that you know, built yourself up to be as a high valued man in life. You're cooked. You are cooked. I don't see a woman of high value coming into Martell's life and giving him legacy, giving him more children, giving him, you know, any of that. I don't know why we saw Sheree on what is Sheree on, y'all? The Housewives of Atlanta. I saw her with Martell. I was like, oh, she better run, because she got high value. She has wealth. She has legacy. So she has status, and that's what Martell seeks, right? Martell is now doing what a lot of women are doing and using his looks as high value, because if Sheree would have looked at Martell on the inside, she would have said, hell to the no, to the no. I'm not doing it. I shall not go, Martell. Because on the inside, Martell's an ugly, bald head motherfucker. Okay? Ugly and bald head. So he's essentially, you know, selling his soul like a lot of women do, right? Men doing it too. It's not just a one-sided argument as far as genders go. Men do it too. Because I'm like, what the fuck is he doing with Sheree? Oh, y'all better get y'all friend if y'all care about her before he use her, do some, you know, nasty to her. Because Martell is disgusted and can't be trusted. Okay?
And blame over truth. It's a day further from the man he could have been. She's done playing peacekeeper between fantasy and reality. She's seen who
Lovely Libra. Because the vow said, what God has brought together, let no man put asunder. Martell broke his vows, so nothing good will come. I thank you to him until he humbles himself and repents. And do you guys think that Martell can do that with another woman in a marriage situation? I don't think that that's what God meant. When I got out of a tumultuous situation that I bared a child from, I took some years to go back into my inner, you know, child and inner woman and just piece myself back together before I entered into tumultuous, toxic situations where I had been broken off. Pieces of me have been broken off, where I essentially got out of completely remembering how it was to take care of matters of my heart and matters of my life, you know, and get back into life. It took some years for me to acquire the husband that I've had now for 11 years. And we share 2 children together. And we've been together, you know, as a couple, fighting through storms, you know, loving, enjoyable, loving moments, things like that. That takes time for a person to go back, find theirself, reinvent theirself, piece theirself back together, restore, rejuvenate, and then regroup back into a place of where you can present yourself to somebody that will want to accept you through the shit that you just came out of, right? Because that's not easy to do, right? For you to say, yes, I came from a broken situation. I was broken, but I pieced things back together to be able to hold up enough in another situation that I believe is worth me holding up in to try to make something out of it and carry on with the rest of my life. I did it. I'm not high value in those areas. Like I don't make $250,000 a year. I'm not saying that God won't bless me one day too. Who knows? But I'm not high value in the area of financial, right? I'm high value in other areas. Trust me. However, right, Martell would have to essentially, you see what I'm saying, do the work, as Ayanna Van Zandt says, for then a person to see him do the work, see him have come through what he put somebody else through, and really get on his knees, take it to God, and say, change me, right? Heal me. Piece me back together when I was once that good man for Melody. I want to be a good man to another woman, but this time I really want it to last. I really want it to endure. Martell's a fool, y'all. We have yet to see that. I don't think we will, but we hold our hope for anybody. Come on.
Melody really is. Seen who Arionne really is. And most importantly, she remembers who Martell used to be. That's the man she misses. Not because he's gone forever, but because he's hiding behind pride. And the sad thing, everyone sees it. The Scotts, Miss Wanda, everyone who's been around long enough knows what's going on. I've all felt the heat from Martell's bad decisions. And they've watched him argue.
Dance is more than just using your body. So much of dance is in your
While they're paying rent over on the channel. I feel you, Lorcy. Let's go up and read her chat. 1 second. Generational wealth must be continued by offsprings who will also need to know how to continue earning with numerous streams of incomes as well. Mel is financially well beyond where she was with him. I had heard that, girl. Do you think Martell can get Arionne in a groove to where she doesn't match Melody, but at least maybe can join her in the high earning generational wealth, areas of life? Do you think maybe she can do that with I forget her son's name, with Martell? Oh, on the tip of my tongue. Do you think they can do that with their child? Okay. Hold on. I do not want to get into Anton Daniels right now. He's on the topic. He's all over Chicago stuff. We'll talk about that at another time as well. Chicago is under fire, y'all. That's another topic for another day. We are still on Martell's mom, on Melody versus Arionne. Okay. So,
You ever look at a mother's face and just know she's holding back tears, words, and a whole decade's worth of disappointment? That's exactly what Miss Marlene was giving when she sat across from her son, Martell Holt. It wasn't just a conversation, it was the kind of emotional explosion that only comes after years of watching your child spiral, knowing you warned them, knowing they didn't listen. You could see it all over her. The ache, the regret, the silent scream of how did we get here? See, there was a time Miss Marlene really believed Martell would come out on top, even when the rumors about cheating with Arionne Curry started bubbling up, even when the public started dragging her son through the mud, she still had hope. Why? Because Melody was in the picture. And Melody wasn't just a wife, she was the glue, the upgrade, the one holding it all together. When Martell couldn't hold himself, Miss Marlene saw her son as a man who could course correct. Melody gave him dignity, direction, and a little bit of class. Without her, everything crumbled, and Marlene had to stand there helpless as it all unraveled. When Melody found out about the side baby, and let's not sugarcoat it, that's what it was. It hit like a truck. But even then, she showed up. She still had the grace to hold her head high, smile at events, and keep that family image polished. Meanwhile, Martell, he was busy fumbling bags and explaining to his mama why Arionne still didn't have a ring after 12 years. 12? You'd think by now he'd know whether she was everything he wanted her.
Whoa! Oh my God! Wait a minute! Arionne and Martell have been in a affair for 12 years. Damn, so what did he start seeing Arionne when him and Melody were 2 years into the marriage? That's nasty work. Damn, so how can he even go back to God and say, when I was a good man for Melody? Damn, sound like he never even was. Shit, where can we give Martell some grace, y'all? This high-value, bald-headed Negro right here. Where can we show him some fucking grace? Should we? Should we?
To be, but nope, he's still figuring it out. And you know what Miss Marlene sees when she looks at Arionne? Not a partner, not a blessing, not even a real presence in her life. She sees a mistake that refuses to go away. When she called Arionne that incident, she wasn't being slick. That was raw truth. That word, incident, hit hard. That wasn't someone you bring into the family fold. That was someone who disrupted everything. And Marlene, she's had to adjust to that disruption, even though every bone in her body rejected it. What's wild is that Marlene's disappointment isn't even subtle anymore. When Martell mentioned moving Arionne into an investment property, her whole vibe shifted. She didn't even have to speak. You could feel the judgment radiating off her. It wasn't a last night.
Are you drowning in payday loan debt? Have you taken out multiple?
Everybody can feel it. Everybody can feel the, just disgust coming off of his mother. They were like 4 years. Oh my God. Like, that's crazy. They say that the test of time, you're welcome, Miss Lovely Libra, that, most relationships, marriages are tested is in like the last of the beginning, coming into the middle. I know that's when me and my husband really faced some really battling storms. Like, we went through some storms. Okay. Laura C. Jones says, change me, oh God. They can't get a YouTube channel going. I had heard that. She said, ain't nobody watching that bullshit if they try to put it on YouTube. Oh, shit.
Every day. To put
Remember,
it into your
please drop
payday
those teacups in the chat and like and subscribe. We are Tanisha Talks Tea Sippers over here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you just became a new sipper today, you will not be denied. You will love the tea that I spill over here. Let's get it. Let's sip.
Why would you even? And Martell's excuse? He couldn't let her move in with him because she didn't have a ring. But then, why not give her one? You've already got a child together. You've been on this carousel for over a decade. What's the holdup? Because deep down, Martell knows this isn't the life he wanted. He's just stuck in the one he created. Miss Marlene remembers the old days, when holidays felt whole, when Melody was cooking in her kitchen, when her grandbabies all came from the same home. She remembers the structure, the security, the actual family, and now she watches as Martell struggles to buy school clothes, pays rent for a woman he won't commit to, and dodges court dates.
Somebody is dropping some hot damn tea. What? And see, that's how you know when a woman's fed up. She didn't even want child support or alimony for Martell's bald-headed old shit. And he's struggling. He's struggling. She like, and he's struggling. He's struggling, y'all. So why am I finna be back and forth in court with bald-headed whole shit? about some child support and some alimony. Fuck him, let him, stew and brew. Bitch, he cooked, he threw. I'm done.
Like it's a part-time job,
That's
all
a
while Melody
shame.
glows up, levels up, and doesn't even look back. Marlene doesn't need to say she misses Melody. It's in her eyes. It's in the way she talks about the family she used to have, and it's in how she tolerates Arionne's existence. Not out of love, but out of obligation.
So now instead of thank you, now instead of his children receiving the home that he acquired, that he had with Melody, you see how you fuck up generational wealth. Now he has to put Arionne and her child in that home, and that be their forever home. I see why Melody was like, fuck him, let him go on by his goddamn stinking bald head business. Real spill. That home that he acquired, that he owns, should have passed down to him and Melody's children. Lovely Libra said that's why he's so mad at Marceau, because Marceau hasn't had any children come out that we know of. We give all men the slightest benefit of the doubt, right? That he now has to pass on his generational wealth to another family, another woman and their child. This just gets more diabolically sinister. Okay. Miss Marlene Lovely Jones says has shady character. Do you think so? As well, be she was living large through male smarts. Martell was see that woman when Boss Baby was born. I heard that. I think that he was riding Melody's coattails. Oh, very, very much so. I think if she would have stayed married to him, he would have drained her. He would have ripped her a new asshole. Okay, she would have been paying for child support for Arionne's child and whoever else maybe it came down the pike or whatever else, because as a married couple, you are responsible as a married couple to pay for expenses of outside expenses, no matter who makes them. Lovely Libra says, I think Miss Marlene loved how Mel elevated her son. I do too. And of course, Miss Marlene, is probably living off the retirement of her husband or however have you. I'm not sure. I think Martell's daddy was in prison, but I believe she remarried. I'm not sure because she doesn't work from what we see, right? So she's living off of something, right? And it may have been the help of Martell and Melody. Very, very, very much so. Okay. They were probably helping her out with things that she needed to keep herself established and keep herself going. Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys so much for the chats, y'all. Keep the chats coming. I'm reading all chats.
Because that's her son's mess, and she's just trying to sweep around it without getting her hands dirty. Martell sat at that table like a man who knew he had no defense. No real words, just circular logic, weak justifications, and the tired look of someone trying to convince himself as much as everyone else. I just want to make sure she's everything I want her to be, he mumbled, like he hadn't already wasted over a decade. That line alone made Miss Marlene exhale the kind of sigh only mothers know. The kind that carries more than breath, it carries defeat. Because let's be real, what more does he need to see? Arionne's been there through every public embarrassment, every side eye from the community, every episode that painted her in chaos, and not once did she bounce. If that's not loyalty, it's at least persistence. But loyalty without growth is just stagnation. That's what Miss Marlene sees now. Stagnation. Martell circling the same drama, trying to build a future on a broken foundation. And the thing is, it's not just about Arionne, it's about everything that comes with her. The legal headaches, the court orders, the silent tension at every family function. According to some insiders, Martell couldn't even legally have the kids around Arionne overnight. That alone says volumes. If the law won't let your children stay in the same house as your partner, maybe that's a red flag. But instead of addressing the core issue, Martell's out here playing landlord, moving her into an investment property like it's some savvy business move. It's not romance, it's damage control.
Okay, if there's one AI site builder you need to meet, it's this dope tech.
while they are paying bills. We are going to pay some bills. Drop those teacups in the chat, like and subscribe. Thank you for all my new tea sippers. Join in the conversation. We are sipping tea from Love Marriage Huntsville on Martell's mother, Mrs. Marlene, how she feels about Arionne versus Melody.
This isn't how it was supposed to be. She remembers when her son had direction, when Melody helped him level up and keep his name clean. Melody wasn't just a wife, she was a partner in every sense. Bills paid, businesses launched, goals aligned, and now Marlene is watching him babysit chaos while Melody steps into rooms her son could have been in too. There's a quiet pain in knowing your child lost the one person who actually made them better, but that pain gets louder when it comes to Maverick. That's still her grandson, and Marlene loves him, but he's also a symbol of what was broken and never repaired. When she looks at Maverick, she doesn't just see a child, she sees the aftermath, and no amount of baby giggles or sweet moments can erase the fact.
So thank you for the teacups, lovely Libra. You think that Melody was better for him financially? Arionne probably in bed. Aren't the mistresses always willing to go where the wives won't go intimately? That's why a lot of husbands seek prostitutes, right? Because of where they're willing to go in bed intimately, right? For them. Yes, indeed. Thank you, lovely Libra, for that comment. Again, she says, Mel was better financially. Arionne probably better in loving on him, not in him. Exactly. Thanks for the teacups. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let them know we are in the building and we are sipping tea. Okay? With Tanisha Talks Teas. Thank you all my new sippers for joining. I can't wait to continue to have you on all of our great tea conversations.
That he was born out of a collapse. It's not the boy's fault, but the truth remains. Marlene never wanted it to go down like this. Then there's the money, because let's not act like Martell's decisions haven't hit his pockets hard. Rumors say he's been behind on things as basic as school supplies. That alone makes Marlene's blood boil.
School supplies! Walmart had school supplies for 25 cents this year, y'all. Some were marked down to 5 and 10. Erasers and things like that, glue sticks. You can't get school supplies, Martell. Wow. So what is he doing with his income from Love and Marriage Huntsville? I got to pick up my kids, y'all. One of my children just became ill at school, so I got to pick him up. But I'm going to finish this segment, then I'm going to close this out.
Her son used to be the provider. Now he's hustling to stretch dollars while financially supporting a woman who's yet to bring any long-term value to his life. Some say he moved Arionne into the property just to stop bleeding rent money. Others claim he's even benefiting from her limited...
Hold on. Laura C. Jones, says that his mother wasn't married. Oh, okay. I thought she maybe was like getting some type of a retirement pension from a husband or something. Okay, she has gone back into the workforce. Oh, wow. So you see how she was not working as far as I knew. Laura C. Jones, do you know if she was working while they were filming with Melody? Because from what we were seeing, right, she looked retired. She looked stay-at-home grandmother, you know, able to assist with the children whenever they needed her to. Oh, wow. Martell done made his high value, bald-headed hoe shit done made his mama have to go back and get a fucking job, y'all. Wow.
Appearances on the show using her image and voice for quick chat. Whether that's true or not, it paints a sad picture using your mistakes as a stream of income. And if Arionne's really not interested in fame like she claims, why does she monitor the show so closely? Why does she know every detail down to the edits and commercial breaks? It's giving obsession.
And can't even monetize off of it. She's trying to monetize off of it by getting on the show. However, I mean, she could have been like she called herself doing the podcast. She could have been podcasting about it. There's a lot of side chicks that would have pandered to her, you know, way of life. But she can't even break into trying to do that off of what she did. That's crazy. Lovely Libra says he broke God's covenant, so he gets nothing in life. Laura C. Jones, that house has mortgage payments and it's under a local with other woo. So it has like liens and stuff on it. Has, you know, things against ooh girl, people that are also tied into the home. Wow. Okay.
Not detachment. And Marlene sees right through it. She's seen real women move in silence, handle their business, elevate a man. Arionne, she's still stuck in the same spotlight she says she doesn't want, clinging to.
So let's take a look at Arionne, y'all.
She's still stuck in.
Is Arionne more beautiful than Melody Holt? Melody Shari. What do y'all think? I don't think so. I think Arionne's a pretty girl, but I don't think she's more beautiful than Melody. Not aesthetically, not body-wise. No.
In the same spotlight she says she doesn't want, clinging to relevance through controversy and drama. Miss Marlene didn't raise Martell to settle. She didn't spend years praying over him, cheering from the sidelines and cleaning up his messes just to watch him end up in a cycle that keeps spinning him deeper into regret. When she said whatever makes you happy, she didn't mean it. Not really. It was the kind of line you throw out when you're tired of fighting. When you've tried every way to shake someone out of their delusion and they still choose chaos. It wasn't support, it was surrender. That's what hurts her the most. Not the situation itself, but the fact that she has to play along. For appearances, for peace. But deep inside, she knows Martell lost everything that mattered. Melody wasn't just good for him. She was the only one who ever truly matched his energy, drive, and ambition.
Now, Martell is a gambler. And also, how often in life do we get to have the love of our lives? Okay. How often does that happen? Do we meet the person in our lives that, you know, was put here for us? Most of us never even find that one person. Martell already found that one person and has lost her. So what's the odds of Arionne being a person, you know, to also be the person for Martell?
Marlene knows it, the streets know it, hell, even Martell knows it. That's why every time he speaks on Arionne, it sounds more like an obligation than a love story. There's no pride in his voice when he talks about her, no excitement. Just these tired explanations about responsibility, shared history, and how she's been there. But being present doesn't equal being right. And no matter how many times he tries to reframe the situation, it's clear he's still chasing the high he had with Mel.
I was living, you know, with a certain level of discomfort. Virtually all my molars were fractured fairly badly.
Oh, okay.
There was
well, they're paying
very
bills,
few.
y'all. My husband's gonna go pick up our kid from school. He's off work today, which is beautiful. I can finish up this video.
It's all gone. And what's left is a man trying to convince himself that he didn't fumble it all. Bean watches it unfold day by day. She scrolls through her phone and sees Melody glowing, jet setting, signing new deals, smiling with the kids. It's like watching the version of life she wished her son had held on to. The version that brought stability, respect, and a future. And while she'll never say it out loud in public, the comparison eats at her. Because with Arionne, it's never felt like progress. Just drama, silence, more drama, and Martell doing damage control on social media, while the blogs eat him alive. The Scotts keep their distance too. Everyone around the situation treats Arionne like a liability. She knows too much, says too much, and worse, she brings too little to the table. No brand, no business moves, no forward momentum, just screenshots and bitterness. She's not a partner, she's a presence, a constant reminder of the past, and an anchor in the present. Marlene's instincts scream that this path Martell's walking leads nowhere good. It's not just about love, it's about legacy. And right now, Martell's legacy is one of scandal and squandered potential. Every court order, every co-parenting blow-up, every missed milestone with his kids, it all adds up. And it paints the picture of a man who had everything but didn't know how to hold it. She doesn't hate Arionne. It's deeper than that. She resents what Arionne represents: the loss, the chaos, the fracture in a life that once looked so full of promise. Melody brought peace and purpose. Arionne brought confusion and court dates. And while Martell might try to balance both worlds, Marlene knows he's already tipped too far in the wrong direction. That's why her face stays so tight. That's why she picks at her food during those tense conversations, because she's grieving something no one can bring back. Not just the marriage, but the man her son used to be. And every time he pretends this is fine, she dies a little inside knowing it could have all been different. That family she cherished, gone. And the woman in its place, she'll never fill the space Melody once did. Not in her heart, not in her home, not ever.
All right, we're gonna wrap up.
Protect your peace and not moving off that square, girl. Because there are things that money doesn't make.
One second, y'all. Conscious TV just started playing next. So we're gonna wrap up this conversation. So they said, Laura C says, mom, I think, was a nurse. Okay. Laura C also says, if you like that street look, right? Laura C says, Miss Marlene didn't raise or pray over her son. She was busy chasing men. Whoa, Miss Laura C, how you know all of this about Miss Marlene? Excuse me, about Miss Marlene and them. How you know all of that tea, girlfriend? Drop it in the chat. If y'all have some tea that y'all want to talk about, email me at TanishaTalk, okay, at gmail.com. And we're going to talk more tea. I'm seeing that my audience loves, my sippers. They like the reality, right? So I'm giving that. I'm giving news. I'm giving reality. I'm giving pop culture. I'm giving music. I'm giving all of that. I'm giving Diddy. I'm giving anybody that relates to us, right? So I really, really thank you guys so much. Remember, if you have a topic you want to talk about on the show, please email me at tanishatalk@gmail.com, and I will respond to you. So we believe, right, that Marlene is more vested in Melody over Arionne, and I think, she rightfully should be. So we're going to continue to just, follow the Arionne saga with Martell and see if he brings her on the show. Do you think that she will now be the essential replacement for Melody on the show from Martell? Because that's what he looks like he wants to do. Do you think that would be a good fit? I don't think that we're gonna take Arionne in like we did Melody and just welcome her into our lives like we really truly embrace Melody. I think because of how she's coming on the show, we're not gonna like her. So that may play into her favor. Because villains are, also unfortunately bigged up in this society, right? Lots of villains walking around here doing dirt of the devil, and people are behind them, unfortunately. So there's an audience for everybody. However, over here, we don't appreciate Arionne's role of how she came into on Love and Marriage Huntsville, and that's just where we are. If you don't feel that way, you're also fine to still remain a sipper. You can feel any way you want to. But just know that that's just like what it is over here. Okay. We don't believe in whoremongering and that bullshit. So, okay. Trying his best to get on her, girl. Lovely. He is trying to get Melody on the show of the Love Marriage Huntsville. He wants her on as his partner on the show. So I don't agree with, however, that's going to be our tea for today. I really want to stay, but I got to get together and get me and my daughter out to our mother-daughter day. Thank you guys so much for sipping tea with Tanisha Talks Teas. Drop it in the chat, like and subscribe, and email me whatever your topic ideas are. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. And remember to stay safe and stay sipping.
Thanks for watching. Remember to show your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing. It's a blessing. Keep your teacups filled and ready for my next upload. Until then, stay inspired and remember, always stay sipping.